Welcome back to the weekly DEFUSE. We're recapping at all the biggest happenings of this week of Valorant and what to look forward to next week. We're recording this on Wednesday, March 1st, and on this week of the episode, we have the result of the Omega side of the bracket of lock-in, layoffs everywhere, and dancing esports. We'll get to that one a little later. I'm your host of this week, Galaxy, from the Instinct Podcast, and I'm joined by Dominic from Off the Dome. How you doing, man?
I'm doing all right. I went to the dentist before this, and I didn't realize that they freeze your face, so I apologize if I look slow, just because my mouth is half frozen. But other than that, I'm feeling pretty great.
That's wonderful. That's a true commitment to the grind, as you see.
Exactly. It numbs the pain of my losses, you know.
Let's get to the news point. And today we're going to get to the top side. I'll be recapping the top side of the Omega bracket. So first round, we had Team Secret with a massive upset over Liquid, beating them 2-0. And they did it decisively. Then we had Na'Vi cruising their way against Crew Esports. Leviathan triumphing over Zeta Division, and Vitality, they beat G Esports, or Global Esports, in 2-1 deficit. Then we had Na'Vi kind of cruise their way past Team Secret. Leviathan beating Vitality 2-0, which, mind you, was a pretty good, pretty close match, but they beat them 2-0. And then we had the semifinals to qualify for the playoffs of the Omega top side. And then we had Na'Vi essentially cruise their way past Leviathan. It was interesting because I felt like Na'Vi didn't drop a single map going against through the entire bracket. So looking very dominant this side.
Man, Na'Vi's looking so good. Now for the bottom side of bracket, we had three main sort of contenders for the bottom side of bracket. It was 100 Thieves, Sentinels, and Fanatics. Now, Sentinels, all if you were kind of hoping, because Fnatic washed them 2-0. Pretty easy. Other matches, we had Furia T1, Foot versus Rex. Those were good matches. Furia did beat T1. Foot did beat Rex, but they kind of got washed in the next match. It was 100 Thieves versus Foot, which is surprisingly close. 100 Thieves this whole time, this whole bracket was looking pretty shaky. They almost lost to EDG, but pulled it out just in the end. They almost lost to Foot, but pulled out just in the end, with Quick looking pretty good actually from Foot. Fnatic sort of swept, similar in a Na'Vi style, 2-0'd everyone in bracket, including 2-0ing 100 Thieves. That match was not very close. I think it was, 13-1 and 13-10. That 13-1 was tough. But from the bottom side of bracket, we have Na'Vi and we have Fnatic moving on into the final four.
Yeah, I think that was EMEA looking very strong. You can definitely say. So with that being said, there is no NA teams in the grand finals. The only America's team left is Loud. So every all North and South America are cheering on Loud, hoping to carry on the torch.
Hell yeah.
As that was going on, we had the VCL of NA, so the Tier 2 scene in NA, and here are some recaps regarding that. So we had the first match, we had the Guard versus TSM, which TSM playing with Kempeki, they also dropped Hazed, managed to win over the Guard 2-0 in a very intense map 2. By the way, very intense. So that was pretty good to see. And then we had Turtle Troop against Moist Moguls, who were a fish before Breakthrough until Moist Esports bought them. Turtle Troop finally got their first win against Moist Moguls, 2-0. My boys finally got a win. I still have hope in them. Then next day we had G2 versus Oxygen Esports, where G2 managed to squeeze out a win against Oxygen, where I felt like Oxygen threw. They should have won map 2 pretty easily, but they just threw very hard. But then we had FaZe Clan versus Shopify, where FaZe Clan actually managed to squeeze a win over Shopify. So I felt like this whole the past 2 days has just been upsets and upsets. So let's see if the day 3 handles that also.
Yeah. Wednesday, as we're recording this right now, the matches are still to be played. If I'm not mistaken, I think it's OR Esports versus M80. Let me double check.
Yeah, it's M80 versus Mad Lions, and then it's gonna be OR Esports versus Disguised.
So another two good matches. I think OR Esports and Mad Lions are both 0-2 for their bracket right now. So if they lose this, that's kind of the end of their run, because it'll be hard to kind of come back. Right now, Disguised is 1-1, M80 2-0, but everything else is 2-1. So it's looking tough for them.
I do need to preference that because G2 won their match, they are 3-0. They are guaranteed for playoffs now. So they essentially qualify for playoffs automatically. And then if M80 wins, they are qualified for playoffs also. So
hell yeah.
So just need to put that into perspective on what happened.
We have a few more pieces of news too that kind of happened outside of just like tournament results. There's a lot of stuff that happened this week. So the first, probably one of the biggest ones, is that Yay is dropped from Cloud9. So if you've kind of been following us last week, we kind of talked about the alpha bracket, and Cloud9 underperformed. They really didn't do too well. They've kind of been underperforming since they've shown this roster. I guess they played at the Red Bull home grounds, did play second, but they lost in pretty dramatic fashion to 100 Thieves. Again, they lost in this most recent bracket to, if I'm not mistaken, DRX. Yeah, they lost to DRX again in a pretty dramatic fashion on that Icebox match. So I think it seems like even though Yay is still playing as, Yay, that fit for that team just wasn't working out. Yay has been dropped by Cloud9, is currently a free agent on the market, which is one of the biggest free agents of all time, I'd have to say.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll kind of cover the story as it develops, right? Because he's yet to say where he's going, where it can even go. We'll kind of speculate on that later. But yeah, I don't know. It's crazy. It's crazy that Yay was dropped by Cloud9.
I think people also say, I saw the comments where everyone was arguing that it's Chamber meta's out of the meta, so that means Yay is a bad player. But I don't think that's the issue, because before Chamber, Yay was really proficient in agents like Sage and Jet, and I don't think those agents actually hinder his performance. I feel like he actually played very, very well against DRX. He was one of the only few players that actually played well against DRX, and I guess maybe just the team dynamic didn't go well. I would have liked to see them if they gelled more, but again, it hurts to see him just be a free agent after just one bad showing. But I hope he will be picked up by a team, just deciding on who. But it's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
I know this news is a little bit old, but everyone needs to understand that the Guard recently dropped their entire creative team. So when it comes to their socials, their team creative team, the socials, all of them, they've all been fired as of recent. And this is no new thing. Esports orgs have been recently laying off, as it's not really it's kind of the bubble hasn't bursted yet, but it will soon, I feel like. And it's kind of sad, because you got to understand, if you do want to get into esports, if you can't do a lot, it's gonna, even people like in Guard, who I felt like were doing an amazing job, they got laid off. So if it's hard to be an employee unless you're a content creator in esports.
Yeah. Hard set to people. Again, there's a lot of, luckily it seems like a lot of them are getting more traction. So those employees and their work are kind of getting recognized. So that's great.
Yeah, we do hope they get employed. It's kind of unfair.
Yeah. The final piece of news is just a few roster switch-ups for the VCL, right? So again, we have Moist Moguls, the new roster, which is really just bought Breakthrough, which again, I predicted saying Breakthrough is going to be a good team. They're proving to be a good team. Ludwig seemed to think so as well. We talked about this. I don't know if we talked about this. I know I made a video about it because there was the Reddit thread that you sent me saying that he followed them all. So this has been a thing in the works for a couple weeks now. So now that Moist Moguls on the scene, what can they do to kind of change how they're at? Then the last thing we have quickly, TSM, they dropped Hayes, they added Konpeki. Losing their IGL, giving IGL duties to GMD instead, and having Konpeki more on that official role. So that's gonna be interesting to see how that kind of pans out. TSM roster is looking so good. I'm really high, especially on GMD, Konpeki, and on Nature. Nature's so good. And that's all the news for this past week.
Yeah. And the lock-in tournament doesn't come back till tomorrow, actually. We get playoffs tomorrow. So playoffs tomorrow would be Navi versus DRX, and then it's gonna be no, it's not. It's Loud versus DRX, and that's gonna be Navi versus Fnatic. So that should be some really crazy matches. So can't wait. And
yeah, it should be Thursday, Friday, Saturday for the matches too.
Yeah, and I dread this, but we're gonna go through our fantasy recap for the Omega side of the bracket.
Well, would you like to do the honors?
I'll do the honors. Unfortunately, the players I picked performed a bit poorly. So I ended with a 4.76 rating or total out of my players. I picked Nats, Zekin, Tokalila, Derek, and Sagetsu. And Dom won with a 5.34, and he had Cryo, CNED, Asuna, Chronicle, and Det.
Yeah, I think it really was kind of Zekin, unfortunately, that did you in. Loves Zekin, friend of the show, love that guy. Had a pretty poor performance for Sentinels on his debut. I know he's going to bounce back, but yeah, I'm really surprised because a lot of your guys did really well too, but it was just one or two really bad maps. Like it was like a 13-1, 13-2, where everyone did bad all around. Yeah. That kind of did you in. Same with me as well, where I think Cryo and Asuna would have had much higher like ratings, but because of their 13-1s right at the end, it really tanked it. But I'll take it. Some of the best free agents though that like, or some of the best people that we didn't actually consider taking, surprisingly, was Navi's Xiao and Zipan, as well as Fnatic's Leo. But surprisingly, none of us took Durka.
Yeah, that was our. I completely forgot because we were talking about how we didn't pick tens, but I felt like Durka was a player we should have picked. I feel like he hard carried that Fnatic because he ended with if I'm not mistaken, a 1.3. And if we picked anybody, if we picked anybody else from Fnatic or Navi, we would have been fine. And then King from Gen G, he performed extremely well. He had a 1.34 rating. No, it was overall, I think this side of the bracket was definitely more hype. And I really it was overall a really good side of the bracket to watch.
Yeah. And yeah, so that makes us 1-1 for fantasy brackets. We'll have to wait and see what the next big tournament is. We could do the last 4 matches, but like I don't think there's that big of a differentiation there. I think the next big event might be the next VCLs, like the next VCL tournaments.
Yes.
Mid-season bracket.
Yeah, and then
so we'll have to cook something up for that.
And then after this tournament, we get the regular season franchising league going on. So the Americas, EMEA.
I think a weekly like fantasy draft, like pick like 3 players, like who does the best head to head.
I'm down.
It'd be interesting.
I feel like that'd be interesting because like it's gonna be much easier to watch, and also we get an idea on who's moving. And I feel like hopefully there's no mid-season roster changes throughout the tournament. So I don't think there's gonna be any roster changes through the regular season. So it's gonna be fun to watch.
Yeah. So finally, or not finally, but I guess next, Eco Force. You know it, you love it. Are you buying safe? Are you ecoing? Or are you forcing up? Are you buying in? Going in. I would like to start this off, if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
I'm playing it safe, and I'm saying that the bubble is bursting. This was gonna be a little bit of a sad segment.
Hard
it's
topic.
Over. This has been an idea for a long time, right? Is that the bubble is bursting, right? Esports is not generating a lot of money from like what they do, but what you have to understand is that a lot of the money is built off of what it can do in the future. They have huge crowds. They have these huge games. A lot of people want to watch it, but I think it's at a point right now that it's not sustainable. And I think right now, as we're going into this economic downturn, it's tough. And so we saw things like the Guard dropping a lot of its roster, even though it was doing great things and is probably still going to franchise as a very, very like high up qualifier for that. They dropped half their roster. 100 Thieves layoffs, TSM layoffs everywhere. It's just same with like Beyond the Summit shutdown. These are great people doing great things, but it's still just not enough because there's not enough revenue in the scene. Now, that really hurts the top end, it hurts the bottom end, it hurts guys like us because we don't get the opportunities, right, to go out there and do stuff on the big stage. It hurts the big guys because they can't, perform with the same safety net and security that they always have been to perform at the top level. So it's going to be tough, but we can work through it. I think there's been times when the bubble has bursted and it just starts coming back up again later, right? As long as there's passion in the scene, as long as there's people that care, then the scene's not dead. So we're not going anywhere.
Yeah. Again, some people are going to misconstrue. Esports is not going to die. This is going to take a much different route as it's going to be more corporate-like, but in the same time, you're still going to have those little sparks of like how esports is going to be. But the bursting of the bubble is needed. All these games are going more franchising route. You see now Valorant's going to the more franchising route. CS is kind of already basically franchised already. League, Overwatch, all these big tier 1 esports are all going franchising, and unfortunately the reality of it, they're needed to sustain money. They can't just keep having open brackets like we did for the past 2 years in Valorant. It's needed, and I would have to agree with you. It is an eco. The bubble is unfortunately going to burst. I don't know, maybe right now, but it's going to very, very soon.
Yeah, just slowly trickling down, but we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see where it goes.
My eco, this was actually announced today, funny enough. TikTok is now making limits. If you are under the age of 18, you cannot be on TikTok for more than 60 minutes. And if you are, you have to put a code in by a parent to let you in. Now, what I'm saying eco is for the content creator perspective, as now it's going to force them to make long form content, which in my opinion, makes your channel and makes you. So it's going to be interesting. You're going to see a lot more TikTokers trying to transition into more YouTube because and then really move the creative side. So I'm actually for this, in my opinion, because I want the content creators I want Valorant scene to flourish, because I feel like we've been riding on the shorts and the little content for a while, and I feel like now we need to start branching out to long form content.
I agree. I think that, have you ever seen, this would be a weird thing, I forgot what the show's called, the D'Amelio Family Show, Have you seen that?
Nope.
It's just like the Dixie D'Amelio, Charlie D'Amelio, whatever, the TikTok stars, but they're just living. And it's very uneventful. But I think if you put 5 gamers in a house, right, and it's just like the NRG guys and no rules, what happens, right? It's probably a lot of degenerate stuff goes down. By that, I mean sitting and playing video games for 15 hours a day. That could be content.
That could be content.
It's good.
It's gonna be good content.
Good long form content.
Yeah. And then like also just more creative, like documentaries. Like me, I'm a big sucker for video essays. I love watching video essays. So like if we can have more video essays of like the esports scene and maybe live Valorant, or just like you just talking about what's going on in, for example, lock-in tournament. What do you think about the EA situation? Just you talking about that just always is a good watch. But yeah, I'm eco on the TikTok 60-minute thing.
Hell yeah. And I got a force for me and eco. We've been playing it safe all day. I'm buying in. I'm going pro. Galaxy in WII SPORTS tennis, because today it was announced by the official Olympic committee that the official Olympic esports series game lineup by the official @Olympics on Twitter: archery, baseball, chess, cycling, dance, motorsport, sailing, tennis, taekwondo. Now you may think to yourself, what games, what professional games are there? There's motorsport, that's one. Chess, what tennis game are they playing? Which means they have to be playing Wii tennis. And if you don't know, I'm a bit of a master on the sticks. I'm always hitting those timings, the power shots. So I gotta start training because I gotta make it to the Olympics. We could have an Olympian on the podcast.
Oh my God.
How rare would that be?
Then if we want, we can record the episode at the Olympics before your match. We can have like a post and pre-game interview. Oh my God.
I kind of want to get into this now.
I've played a lot of Mario Tennis. Do you think that's in the equation? If anything, if it's Mario Tennis, I think we might have to go doubles. We might just go doubles into the Olympics.
For Mario Tennis, I'm a bit of a Donkey Kong king. Punching the ball.
I'm more of a Luigi kind of guy when it comes to Mario Kart and everything. I'm more of a Luigi kind of guy. But yeah, I would love it. I think I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of nasty at bowling. I don't know what to say, but bowling's my thing, and I think I might go that. I wasn't really big of a dance guy. I still can't dance, but it's gonna be interesting to see. And why is chess an esport? I feel like it'd be more intense if it was in person, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I feel like that kind of ruins it. I don't really know the format for this Olympics. I think they're going to get a ton of backlash. I don't know if they're going to change the game lineup, though, because it's a bunch of old white dudes. But yeah, in all seriousness, this is an awful lineup. They very clearly didn't consult anybody anywhere. It's going to be interesting to see what field they get and what sort of qualifies someone to be an Olympiad. And unironically, I would love to try to figure out if I could be an Olympiad for a random game. I was number one. Actually, I wasn't number one. I was like top 25 in Minecraft One in the Chamber at one point, so I clearly have the top end talent to produce it again.
So you have past experience.
Yeah, I got that championship pedigree on my shoulders. Do you even know a beef chisel?
No, was that you back then?
That's for a different. That's a story for a different time.
Oh my God, yeah. It's gonna be interesting to see. My force is we're going to take it back to the Valorant lock-in. I have DRX winning the event. Now, everyone's counting them up. Oh, EMEA is super strong. Oh, Loud, they're on home grounds. They're going to win. No one's talking about DRX winning, and I'm all in. For the past 2 years, really, they have barely made it past the top 4. This is the event, and this is the time to do it. They overcame EA and Cloud9. They overcame all the obstacles they needed. Loud is the final boss. If they are able to defeat Loud, I feel like they have a chance to defeat against either Na'Vi or Fnatic. I feel like this is the tournament where they can actually go in and they are actually able to win a tournament finally. So that is my force. I said Leviathan would win and they got absolutely destroyed by Na'Vi, but ignore that. DRX, I'm on the DRX train right now.
I kind of have to agree with you. Maybe not agree with you, but I think that all 4 of these teams have the chops to win. If they haven't won already, then they have been in the position or the precipice to win. Man, it's just so tough. Especially because Loud's been looking really good. Loud clean sweeped everybody. Na'Vi clean sweeped everybody. DRX dropped 3 maps, a map every single time they've played. They've looked really, really good, but they haven't had that same consistency. Fnatic clean sweeped everybody. So it's definitely tough, but I think that DRX has that championship pedigree that I was talking about in my Minecraft One in the Chamber. So I have to believe that they can do it, right? They're just like me for real.
For real. I think honestly, if you start going there now, I think you might be as their 6th man. Maybe you might have like 1 map in you. maybe just like a half
Stacks
a round.
move out of the way.
Oh yeah.
Get me in there.
I feel like because we already have a championship pedigree over here, like I feel like they could use that right now. But our final topic, the main topic, is we're going to decide on where is Ye going. Is he going to South America? Is he going to EMEA? Is he going to China? Who knows?
Get ready to learn Chinese, buddy, because he's going to the Chinese VCT. That's my take on where Ye's going next. They're a new league. They need star players. They're good. We've seen them be good. EDG, FPX. Even though they both lost in the first round, they looked really good. And they now just have 2 free Masters slots. North America doesn't even have that many Masters slots, right? I think they have, what, 3?
Yeah.
How many Masters slots do they actually have?
They have 2. They have 3, I believe. Yeah.
It doesn't say. But China now has 2 Master slots, right? And how many top teams does China have? 2. What if, all I'm saying, a new organization wants to make a big hail in the scene? What do? Make a major acquisition in Ye. Put him in the Chinese roster, he's going to go crazy. Put him in the Chinese servers, he goes crazy. That's all I'm saying.
So, would it be crazy if he moved to China? Yes. Would he dominate everyone? Yes. Does he know Mandarin? By any chance? That's the real question.
I will add him on Twitter right now and ask if he knows Mandarin.
I think that's the big question mark. If he knows Mandarin, I feel like the contract would be ginormous. As EDG and FPX, they're a pretty proficient esports org, and they're very huge in China. I mean, very, from League, of course. They're very massive. Is it likely? Probably not. I don't think so. He's going to an APAC region or a Pacific region at all. But would it be crazy? And I think it would be too easy for him, in my opinion. I would doubt he would either go to it. But
think of the revenge tour. Think of the revenge tour, right? He dominates the Chinese Valorant scene just to come back to Masters to prove everybody wrong. He becomes NA's #1 villain because he's on the revenge. He wipes them all out. He says North America.
The El Diablo
I'm riding
we needed.
with G these days.
The El Diablo we needed. He was like this good guy, nice guy. No, we need 2023 is unironically Ye's villain arc, and I think that's what we need. But would it be a Pacific region? I doubt it. You know what my thing is? I'm going in. He's going to join a Brazilian team. I don't know why, but I have a feeling a Brazilian team would just fit so well. Brazil, very dominant in the FPS world. He loves Brazil. Loves the fans. Loves the community. Would Loud pick him up? No, but I can see a team like Furia, MIBR pick him up. Just as the MIBR kind of fell through and didn't do so hot in this tournament, I can see them pick him up. Hey, we need a star firepower. Wherever they're going to be in LA for the regular season, why not just bring him over? He's already living in LA. I think a Brazilian Ye with that culture, with that mindset, it's just like a little ingredients, little spices that round that would just make Ye into a villain that we need in the esports scene. Because I feel like we don't have a villain. Valor does not have a villain yet. Yeah, Sentinels, like, they're the villain org, but nobody on that team is hated. Or like before, back then, we're back to the 2021-2020 era of Sentinels. Nobody's really hated or there's a villain on that team. And I feel like that's what we need. I think Ye is that perfect piece that we need as a villain in this year.
I think there's another world too, right? Instead of thinking out the top, think about the bottom. Genuinely though, aside from all the jokes, Ye has an opportunity to possibly join a VCL team. Right? And a VCL team if he really wants to. There's a few teams that don't have a complete roster, but I think some of them have the money if they really want to try to make it. Someone like a Ludwig roster, someone like a Disguised Toast roster, they could pay Ye some amount of money, maybe not $4 million, maybe not make them, drop the rest of the roster. But being able to add a talent like Ye or other free agent talents like Marv is still on the roster or still like out there, right? Nismo's still out there somewhere.
Nismo's on M80.
Insane players.
Nismo's on M80.
He is? I forgot that. I just think, whenever I think of M80, I think of Xander.
No, it's the old Ghost Squad and then a few of the V1 squad. They're on M80 now.
My bad. Not Nismo. But there are a lot of free agents out there. So I think if some streamer, influencer person wants to come in and really make a big splash, they add Ye, they add Marv, they can make a new roster, they can just take an old roster, add a few pieces in. This is basically added in like a new route for someone to come in and just change the game. To really just change the scene as a whole. I
also remember Myth from a while back. He said he was interested in investing in a Valorant team. And also, the juicer himself, XQC, yesterday or 2 days ago, he was saying that he was interested in buying a team. All I'm saying is, if we have the juicer, call them like the juicer squad, juicers. I feel like that would be perfect. But the only free agent team that's left right now is Turtle Troop. And they just recently made two acquisitions. They're not paid, and they just recently won. I feel like all the pieces are there, and we're going to see a lot of more content creators just invest into esports, and it's going to be a lot of interesting. But I can see juicers. Juicers is the XQC fan base is going to be massive. You don't even need to do marketing. XQC all needs to just tweet out the aim, and then you'll have thousands and hundreds of thousands of viewers already on the scene. So
exactly, and that'll get us out of the bubble.
Oh my god, yes. The bubble will officially burst after that.
We solved it. We actually solved it.
Oh my god.
Okay, one last final anecdote before we go. I was joking around. I was saying that I solved inflation last week. Actually, this was yesterday, because I went to the store and I bought a thing of like carrots and potatoes for $1. And I was like blown away that something wouldn't cost more than like $5, because I bought a bag of carrots and potatoes for $1 and I got 4 tomatoes for 10.
Wow. That's a steal.
Yeah, so 4 tomatoes for 10 is awful, but the other one, fantastic. I made a good old stew. Anyways, that's awful way to end the show. So Galaxy, wrap us up.
Alrighty, guys. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. It would help a lot for next week. And if you guys have any comments or discussions you guys want us to talk about, make sure to comment down below. Make sure to follow us. This episode will be on the Instinct Podcast. And then if you want to go follow Dominic from Off the Dome and Dominic Live. So make sure to do that. Stay healthy. Stay beautiful. Love you guys. Alrighty.
Take it easy.
Take it easy. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.